I'll send it after.
Okay. Oh, we're recording.
Okay. Well, when you see
All
we're
All right, guys, have a good breakfast.
okay, well, it's been crashed. Okay, well, anyway,
She's crashing from the next room.
I don't know if you saw a scout, and then you see our friend. I try to get how to point this. Okay, there we go. See,
Yeah,
Louisa.
Louisa.
Looks like Marvin. Do you see a phone there? It looks like Marvin's trying to reach us.
Yeah.
I see a designation of a phone, but
What he needs to do is go onto his email and just click on the link. And if he's got Zoom on his phone, it'll come up.
okay, maybe
Looks like he was almost there.
it was almost there. Okay. Now, Tom, you're live. First of all, two things. How's my sound?
Your sound's great.
Is it tinny?
No, you
Not
sound
bad.
like Pavarotti.
Is that it? Brian sound.
Pavarotti. You're sounding like me.
You're a little tinny, Tom. Is
I am.
Tom tinny to you? Brian?
I may be tinny.
No, he sounds good to me.
Are you in your studio there?
No, I'm just at the kitchen table.
That's a vast room compared to the studio.
No, my kitchen table is vast compared to the studio.
Right. There's not a lot of room to eat and talk in the studio.
This is good, Brian. We'll use this for tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I'll take Louisa down. I don't think I'll invite Louisa to be in the.
I don't know. She adds a certain flair to the decor. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, just leave it up there. Just I think there's probably privacy laws you'd be violating, but you can't tell who it is.
I'm going to also get a banner. I don't have, it's getting printed, but it's going to be Blaine's World on WPVM. So
that's a great idea.
Excellent.
Very cool.
Yeah, that'll have that in the background.
Well, I want you guys. I already had an exciting morning. Yesterday morning at 6:30, we got the call that somebody broke a water line, and it was supposed to come back on by 10 o'clock last night. It's still not on. So we have had no water since yesterday morning at 6:30, and so I went over this morning at 4:30 to get as much water as I could carry from the other house and bring it here. So we had to go out to the creek and get our water today.
Go down to the creek.
Down to the creek, and I'm telling you that I'm glad I did that because those potties were not looking real good.
I bet. Yeah.
So it's supposed to be on what time?
It was supposed to be on at 10 o'clock last night.
Yeah. Wow.
Which was long. I mean, it was all day,
Yeah.
And it's still not on. It's amazing. So I've never, usually they sort of under promise and over deliver, but not this time. It's, they're way past. Yeah, that's better, Tom.
Yeah, that's a little better.
Yep. Now I can see your gorgeous face.
I'm writing Marvin to tell him to check the email link. But he's probably busy too. I'm glad he can work. There you go. That's the breakfast.
Yeah. Are you having your yogurt as usual?
No, let's see. I waited for you guys. I have my protein bar.
Okay. Got your protein bar, man. All right.
Then I have with Tom. I have my vitamins. I can't try to get the camera. Well, anyway.
Are they gummy bears?
Yeah. Some there we go. Cheers, Tom. So I got my vitamins.
Cheers to you.
See, Carol finally gave up and realized I won't take any pills, but I will chew gummy bears.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, no. Cynthia was having a problem, and she did what I said. She's having to take some pill, and she can't drink it, so she mixes it now like I do in applesauce.
Oh, okay.
Can you?
Another easy thing to do is throw them in smoothies.
That would work too. But then we have a thing too. You can smash them up also to ground it. You have a thing that can do that. You can swallow pills, right, Tom?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have to. There's about 12 of them in the morning and another 8 in the afternoon.
Just don't like them. I like my gummy bear. They're healthy gummies. Did you see the Earth Fair is going to reopen?
Yeah, very exciting. It's interesting. The Westgate one apparently
Right.
The other one's going to be a Whole Foods. You see that?
Oh, is that going to be a Whole Foods?
Where you used to live.
Yeah. Well, that's a big store, so that's interesting. Wow. Yeah. Well, it's cool. It'll be, it's the original. One of the original owners has got a little investment group, and I didn't realize they had become coast to coast.
Nor did I.
Yeah. So they really overexpanded, I guess, and that's what killed them. But
Right.
hey, if they just run the Asheville store, they'd be successful because that thing was always busy.
I would think so. Yeah, both stores. But I think the Westgate one was busier. Cynthia liked that one better.
Oh, Westgate. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It's because of the people. It's so weird to go into when going into our local Ingalls, and Sherry Lynn, who was at the old one for 31 years, it just doesn't seem right for her to be checking people out at Ingalls.
No.
Well,
Finishing up a career at Ingalls is not the way to go. Huh?
Yeah, and Shirley is over at the
Whole Foods or something.
Whole Foods on Merriman, and that it's weird because like she could do everything at Earth Fair, with blindfold on, standing on and then she's got to have a little cheat sheet at Whole Foods to figure out how to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Who would have thought though that's like the best job now in the world, to work at a supermarket, because you're always going to have a job.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Woo.
Yeah, but you could also catch a disease that way.
I would think so. No, I would think they're really susceptible to coming in contact with people.
Well, they actually take them in the morning and line them up against the wall of the store and fire a fire hose on them each day before they come in. I saw they were all drip drying when I walked in there the other morning. So
well, you're up early enough to see that happen, but most of the patrons are not.
I was actually I needed the extra money, so I'm the one on the fire hose.
Well, Cynthia was pissed. They have, early for seniors. It's all just for seniors. I think 8 to 9, a lot of the stores. So she said, "Who the hell is going to go there at 8 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning?" But you see that? Yeah, exactly. You can only, and now you qualify, Brian.
Yeah. Hey, you know what, you guys? I was just gonna let you know, if you have time or want to, I'm doing these story workshops, on Zoom, and you're welcome to come on.
What time is it?
They're Tuesday and Wednesday, so tomorrow and Wednesday at noon.
And what is that?
They're noon to 2, and they're workshops about how to tell better stories, how to listen to better stories, and you get a kind of a cool little app to use for free for about a month and a half until the end of May. But it'd just be fun for you to come on. I mean, you're not the target audience, but you're my buddies, and I'd love to see what you think about it.
Yeah.
Can you send us information on that?
Yeah, I will. I'm thinking that the one that I'll probably have you on will be Wednesday, but I'll send it out to you. It's through Avenue. It's through the ones I did, 18-day, 2.5-minute a day videos.
Oh, like you used to?
Yeah. Well, that's the company that is doing these story workshops, and the concept is it's a workshop right now. They're doing these for free, and they're just a way to bring some positive focus into people's lives right now. That stories are, I mean, you're going to learn some pretty cool things, and since you're both kind of in the world of stories in a way, some very cool things about stories, about how the brain works, how you get a model of how you really build a great story. And you'll actually get to practice stories. In this technology, Zoom, we can put you into breakout rooms. You get to practice a story with somebody else. So, and what's kind of cool is, I've done a few of them. People really get into it. I mean, the interaction really works on Zoom because it's one-to-one, and people are comfortable one-to-one, even if they don't know somebody, when they're prompted. So it's not like open-ended. You get a prompt for a particular story.
I want to send you something, Brian. I may have told you that yesterday Cynthia participated in a dance program, and did I tell you about it?
Yeah, 203 people at $40 a piece.
$40. So I want to send it to you, and just what you were saying, they did the overall, and then they did breakout sessions of 6 people each. And they loved it, but I like those numbers, for your thing. And so we won't be doing board breaking, but when you're doing, it's not open to the public?
Yeah, it really kind of is. I mean, the target audience is, so you need to know this a little bit. It's aimed at like HR directors and above in companies, because that's where they focused it. But that doesn't really matter. I'd love you guys to play with the app. It's a very cool app. I mean, it's very cool what it does. I don't want to give it away, but it's simple to use, and it's just a way to tell stories, share stories, ignite other stories, and understand. And who is the greatest president of all time?
Trump, obviously.
Yeah, the answer's got to be Trump.
That's what he says.
If you ask one person.
Right, exactly. No, you ask him.
Yeah. Well, Abraham Lincoln, right?
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so Lincoln never answered a question. He always had a story. He was probably the ultimate storyteller. That was the way that he led, and so it'll be fun. By the end of the call, I think I gotta stop calling them calls. End of the workshop, you really learn some cool things and had some fun with some stories.
Is the app
That's great.
Or
great.
How do you have to use the app on the phone?
Yep. And so what we'll do is I'll send you guys an enrollment, and I'd love to have Marcy on it, Cynthia too, if they want. But I'll send you a little thing that you just push a button to enroll. Again, it's free, but then that they need your email address to send you the code for uploading the app. So you upload the app before the workshop.
And you do the app on your phone, though, right?
You just you'll get it off the App Store.
There's food for you. I've been thinking about this for you. Do you know Robert Thomas? He's friendly with Barry Barton.
No.
He's a musician. Anyway, a lot of people started.
Yeah, he lives here in our neighborhood.
What you know?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, he did it like an outdoor concert yesterday, and a lot of people are doing now concerts, and a lot of people now asking people to make pay for the concerts kind of thing. A lot of the artists are.
Right.
But, some way we could do this, or I think there's a market there for you. That people would.
Yeah. Well, I'll send you both too. Last week I dug in and started to develop virtual offerings, and so I have 5 of them. And so I'll send you what those are, so you can just kind of look at them, have some fun with them.
Now, are you charging for those?
Maybe we should do a comeback of, you got to have heart. We could do a concert of we got to have heart, and then leading up to jazz.
Well, ACT does that every day. They have a challenge, and different performers are singing songs, and they have a happy hour. But I gave Brian this idea, Tom, that he could also do his board breaking, but instead of doing boards, he would just use pencils. So you get a pencil, take a pencil with you, get it in front of you, chop it, and what do you think? Would it have the same impact?
Yeah,
I think the same impact.
Not same.
I think what I'm doing is I'm going to get a contract with Amazon, and we'll actually do the board breaking. Everybody will get a board from Amazon in the mail. And then the only problem is we're going to have robotic holders too. So that's the
I was going to say, how do you hold it? Who's going to hold it?
Yeah, we'll just put it between 2 chairs and stomp on it. I think is about it.
Now, talking about chairs, this is funny. What I had to do, so I'm sitting, this is kind of the position. So my lighting is pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's excellent.
Yeah. And so I'm going to also shift gears now. Right now I can see.
And your makeup this morning, by the way, Blaine, your makeup this morning is superb.
The shade.
And the beard is coming right through.
You like that? I do. But the funny thing is, so I'm now having to sit on a cushion with a towel on top of it, because otherwise I'm like Brian, I'm down bottom, so.
Yeah, I can sit up here if I want to. Yeah.
Exactly. No, it's better position. This is funny. When I go down like that, you can't see me. You just see my chin. But you guys know Michael Trayford, right? Or you do, Brian?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he had a really neat video the other day. I'm playing with it. He shaved one half of his beard, you know, empty. It was shaved, and the other half wasn't. So he kept going like this. You know, what do you think? Which side do you prefer?
I was like that guy the dentist that we had in the thing with us. Remember he did the Willie Nelson on one side?
Right, Mark Nolan. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, I should send that to him. Yeah, Mark. Same thing.
Yeah, real nice guy.
Yeah, I don't want to shave. I don't want to shave my mustache, so I don't think I'll do it the whole Willie Nelson thing. But that was really cool. That was great.
It is, and you know the fun part of all of this right now is that you guys don't know I have no pants on.
Well,
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Well, I sent you the article.
You don't want to see it.
Yeah,
I think I just sent it to you yesterday. The article about, you know, you have to be concerned about your appearance. And Tom, you relate to this just because of the dog. You said if you're doing this video conference, all of a sudden your dog runs in, or you have to run after the dog. So you run out, and you bother. You got to be careful about that.
Yeah.
You know,
It is more PG though, because she just had ratty looking leggings on versus being naked from the waist down. You know.
Wait, who was that?
On the article that you sent. That's what.
Right, but you have to be careful.
Yeah.
So I have to decide if I want to get dressed up for this tomorrow. But you don't have to. You're looking good. Tom?
No, Blaine, I don't think you're going to need the microphone.
They said the station, because it's funny, I'll check the sound of this, but then on the radio, this makes a video file and also makes an audio file. And apparently the audio file is a little tinny. They said, you know, the station person is really in charge. She's kind of a perfectionist. Davine, she wants to be to sound as good as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, what you suggested, I'm going to move the piece of furniture in front of me up. I'll put a blanket over it, and I'll have the mic muffled by the blanket. You know, so I'll try. I just think it sounds a little bit better if I can borrow it.
But you know, if you're watching like MSNBC and stuff, they're just using their computers.
Right, at home. And you can tell, and to me, it's fine. I'm grateful I can see them. But you're right, you can tell the difference in quality. You know, WLOS also, I don't know if you noticed, one person comes into the studio and the other people, they're all doing it from home.
Right.
And MSNBC, they're all doing it. But some, you can see, one woman was complaining yesterday, a politician, that they thought she was drunk, and she was saying, no, you know, I was just doing it all myself, and, you know, she was doing the best she can. It's not perfect, but it's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Like I'm amazed the quality of this is I think pretty good. You know, are you guys, now I want to switch something, you'll see it. Right now.
I just saw somebody sneak behind there.
Yeah. And there's a little boy down on the ground here too.
There she is. There she is.
I've been photobombed.
Photobomb. She's Zoom bomber. She's a Zoom bomber.
You're a Zoom bomber.
So now we shift gears. Let me ask you, what do you prefer? You can't see it, but right now you see just whoever's talking. So when Brian talks, see him. When Tom talks. Before I was taping with all three talking. You know, you can see all three in the boxes.
You can do that if there's a little thing up in the upper right hand corner.
Right. Yeah.
Of the screen.
Yeah, you can't see it though, right? It's called.
What's that?
You can't see it right now. I just see you, and then the three of you are up top. If I do the gallery,
right now I see all three of you equally.
At top,
I see you all. Tom's on this top, on here, and you're there. So I haven't been going to where I'm just looking at the one person who's speaking. I've seen all three of you, all three of us all along.
Well, let me ask you: when you view, so you can do that at home now. You can see all three equal size.
Yep.
And then if you switch it, you can switch to see one person?
I can switch? I don't know if I can switch.
Yeah, upper right-hand corner.
Oh, yeah, speaker view. Oh, there I see. Yeah.
Oh, cool. So I didn't know.
Gallery view is when you want everybody to see everybody. And speaker view is when we can see all three.
Well, let me ask you.
Wait a minute. Right now, if I hit speaker view, that's one person. So I see your Shannon face. And then the three of you, and then the three of us are in a little box on the right.
Well, let me ask you this. I'm thinking, Brian or Tom, when I do it for Facebook Live, when I do it the video, the problem with all three is, especially on a phone, it's very, very small. You know what I mean? I think it looks better when I just do it, whoever's speaking. That's my thinking, because it was very small. You can on a phone to see the little picture frames. So I think I like it best. I see Tom now. I don't know why I see Tom. He's not talking, but I see Tom.
Hello.
Now he's talking. All right.
Now I'm talking.
Yeah, I see Brian. Anyway,
What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think, Tom, for an interview? Should it be, since it's only two people, do you think it should be the split screen the whole time, or do you think it should go in and out, just whoever is speaking at the time?
I can't get mine to do the split screen. I've got hide thumbnail video, I've got show active speaker video, and I've got show thumbnail video.
You have
you should have a thing on the top that says gallery view.
Top
And
right.
I have the gallery view.
So click that.
Oh, there you go. Look at all three. All three of us are right there and
right
in black and white. No color.
So Blaine, my feeling is for an interview,
right, that
I guess I would lean towards the gallery view. It's just two people, and it just shows more interaction. You can't pick your nose though while I'm talking.
Exactly. That was the drawback. It's like what?
But that's good, because you're not supposed to pick your nose anymore. I'm going into nose picking depression.
Yeah. Hands away from your face.
Yeah.
There he is. Yeah, we can watch. Well, Cynthia, I told you you may not know it, Tom, but Brian does. That's massage technique 101. That you go in, lie down, and then there was a wrestler. I don't know if you ever heard him, called Killer Kowalski. You ever hear?
Sure.
There was a wrestler, and he had the sleeper hold, and so that's what Cynthia and Carol learned that first day of massage school. Put the sleep, and then they have an hour free to themselves. They go read. So the problem with two people on at a time, you're right. You can't pick my nose. I can't go to sleep. I have to pretend I'm interested.
Yeah. Right. You do. That's rough though.
Well, Tom, did you?
Right. Especially with the guests you got tomorrow, man. That's like you're gonna have to. I can see the review of the show. Started really slow.
Well, Tom, did you ever? I'll admit I had this once happen too. When you were on the radio, and when you were interviewing somebody, did you either fall asleep or almost fall asleep? Ever happen?
That never happened. No.
Yeah. Because one time, one show, it was like, did it late in the afternoon, and the guy said to me afterwards, "Were you falling asleep?" It's like really. Or you tell Brian the story. You had that with a judge, right? Same thing too. Judge falls asleep.
Oh yeah, I've had judges fall asleep on the bench during the middle of a trial, which is terrible.
Well, what do you say to them?
What you do is you look at the clerk and you point over to the judge, and they just say he'll hear it or he'll read the transcript or something.
You don't like drop your papers on the floor really loud or something, or
right? Wake him up.
Pretend to have a coughing fit for a second, or.
Yeah. Well, I thought a judge was sleeping one time, and a witness said something, and the judge just sprang right back up to life and say that again. What did you say?
Oh.
So he was listening. He just was doing it with his eyes closed and snoring a little bit.
Wow. Yeah. So Tom, how you look like you're feeling good? You've been feeling good?
Fairly good, yeah. I still get knocked around a few times a day, but generally I'm feeling pretty good. How are you guys doing in terms of, my daughter is sick. I don't know. I think I've told Blaine about this, but Brian, I don't think you know. Annie out in Colorado has the virus, number one, and she was also diagnosed with pneumonia on Saturday. And
oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I've got some major concerns. So put the powers of the world out to her assistance here.
How is she doing? How is she doing now?
She seems like she's doing well, but she hides it well,
But she's not hospitalized.
No, she's not. She probably should be, but she's got 2 little boys and a husband. And as soon as you're hospitalized, you are no interaction at all, really. I
Right.
don't think she wants to be there.
I
The
had,
boys have not. They have not caught it, and her husband has not caught it either. So I'm
the
really
two
pleased with that.
things were very sad. I mean, one, Cynthia's sister Joyce had friends over maybe within the last month, and the friend caught it and just died yesterday. So this is the first time I heard of
Oh,
somebody who actually, somebody you know. And then John Boyle, Brian, who John Boyle is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A very good columnist for the Citizen, for the local paper, wrote a beautiful column yesterday, and he gave me permission to run it. I'm going to run it in the blog. It was kind of his thoughts on what's happening. That was okay. But then he read this one letter, I'm almost in tears telling you about it, from an 80-year-old woman who said that I think her husband's sick and she'll never see him again. And it was one of the most touching letters I've ever seen. And at the end, John Boyle says, and I'll never complain about not having Netflix working. Like my TV's not working now. That should be the least of my problems. And I'm concerned with, have you spoken to her? On the phone? Annie?
Not on the phone, no.
Oh.
What a combination, though, really in her lungs with pneumonia and the CV-19.
I know. It's frightful. She's on some heavy-duty antibiotics right now, and yesterday she said she was feeling a little bit better. And so, we got a 2-hour time lag, so another couple hours from now, I'll check back in with her.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, she's young and strong. She'll come through.
And she is. She's had the fever for 12 days at 103. Then it dropped back down to 101, and she thought she was on the improvement, and then it jumped back up again. Then it fell, and then it jumped back up again. And so
that is a long time for such a high fever.
Yeah.
Has she seen a doctor?
Oh yeah.
Oh, she's been able to go in.
But she the early on the doctor gave her a prescription to get the test for the coronavirus, and in Denver, A, they didn't have enough. B, they weren't testing anyone under 65 unless they were in the ICU. And
Jesus. So the kids and her husband have been tested yet now?
No, they haven't been tested, but they don't show symptoms. One of the kids had the cough and a fever, but it was only for a day, so they don't think if he had it, if it was a very mild case. But
you let Annie know that she's got ROMEO power behind her. That
that's right. Yeah.
We're sending her. Now I wasn't going to tell you guys this because I didn't want this call to be down, but I need to tell you something that is shocking and not good at all, and kind of horrible, and that is Keith Challenger.
Oh, I don't want to hear this, yeah.
He is dead.
Oh.
Keith, yes. Pretty horrible.
What?
Not from the disease. He, about a month ago, 3.5 weeks ago, he and his wife have been separated for a long time.
I thought that might have been the case, yeah.
And, but 3.5 weeks ago, she finally said to him that she wanted, that it was time to divorce, that they weren't going to get back together. And I was probably Keith's best friend.
I was going to say that, yeah.
He had a really great friend in California who was in the movie business named Barry, but he passed away 1.5 years ago, and that really ripped Keith's heart out. Keith kept everything inside, never let out. I mean, I never saw him laugh a lot. I never saw him, down. But the day that that happened, that she said it's son. And because they were friends, they saw each other pretty much, 5 times a week, and even though they didn't live together.
And they're the kids, too.
Yeah. They didn't have kids from each other. They just had, they didn't have their own kids, but he had 2 sons and a daughter from his first marriage, and she had a daughter from her first marriage.
Because that's who we met I met the son.
Yes, Shelby, right.
Yeah, nice kid.
Anyways, he called me up right after she had said that, and he was in tears. And I've never seen Keith show any emotion. He was just the most seemingly even keeled and gentle and kind person.
Yeah.
But he was broken up. He still would not. Over the last year and a half, I've tried to get him to open up a little bit, to talk about, not just how he felt, but what was behind it, just to kind of get it out instead of closing it in. I'll make this story shorter, but anyways, between that time and a week ago Saturday, even to just lift him up a little bit and let him know I was here if he needed to talk and stuff. And he would most of the time he just sounded like regular Keith. But last Saturday night, he snapped, and partly because he knew he was about to lose his job because the West End's going to close. He hadn't been sleeping at all. I didn't even know he did this, but he drank. I would have never even thought he drank at all. And he went to her house with a gun. And she thinks he was going to take his own life and bring her with him. At any rate, he did not. But I think a shot was fired. Anyways, he ended up in jail.
Wait, he ended in jail?
In jail for criminal domestic violence.
So he was still alive.
He was still alive. So he was in jail. I spoke to him the next morning. He sounded like himself again. He was terribly remorseful. He knew he had done a terrible thing. We were talking about getting help. We were talking about, taking baby steps. And so then we started to email back and forth a little bit. You have to use a special email when somebody's in jail. I guess, it's something you pay for and it gets screened and stuff. But so we emailed. I spoke to him on Sunday. We emailed Sunday and Monday. He sounded, like I said, he sounded really good. And then Tuesday, as I was doing a story workshop, I found out that he had hung himself in jail.
Oh my!
Oh,
in
Brian.
jail. Oh, I'm
I'm
so sorry.
so sorry.
And so he's gone.
How'd you find out?
His wife called me right away.
Oh, I want to give you a hug right now. Here.
Oh, yeah, wow.
There's just nothing that you can say other than, we just have to remember what a good soul he was.
Yeah, he was.
And not to
such a sweet guy.
I think that what happened was the shame that he felt. He, standing us out here would say, don't even think about that. You made a big mistake. Now let's get some help. Nobody's going to think less of you. Nobody's going to think, but I think that he had created a somewhat of a facade, but a persona of being able to take the world on his shoulders and just deal with it as a gentleman and peacefully and calmly. And I think the shame of feeling like he could never look his sons in the eye the same way, feeling that he had done something that he could not handle living with. I'm just, it's all conjecture, but anyways, it was on top of everything else, it's been a hard thing. So, but I also know that I will not go into a funk. because he wouldn't want us to. He wouldn't want me to. And I mean, having had happen with what happened with Jenna,
Yeah.
I learned so much that you can't fix things like this.
Right.
And that I do know, and you do no one any good by going into your own depression. And so, I mean, I'm sad, but I'm okay.
How's his wife doing? You were friendly with her too, right? I met her.
Somewhat. I mean, we were not unfriendly, just real different. She's very, she's a Trumpster.
Oh,
She's a hardcore evangelist Christian. I mean, perhaps that was, I have no idea what, but she was friendly and just very, very devoutly Christian religious, you know, in the ways that are difficult for me to connect with.
My one memory of Keith, and I'll try to dig it up if you want me to send it to you, that Keith was in one of the shows we did Business on Broadway, remember?
That's right.
The first one. But more importantly, I always feel bad. I asked Keith about this, Brian, that Keith was a marvelous entertainer, really good entertainer.
Yes, he was.
I have to see if I have the solo. He did a solo from Oliver, remember?
Yes.
And he was such a talented performer. And I asked him, he always wanted to perform. I guess he didn't have the time or, whatnot.
Right.
To be able to do it. But he always wanted to sing and perform. And Jerry asked him, after that thing, he asked him to be in some shows, but it'd be such a long distance, from the trip up to
right
to there.
And he was our, Tom wasn't there this year, but he was our Santa Claus.
Yeah, that's right. Did a great job. I was so grateful, Tom. I get stuck, I said, you were stuck. You weren't sure. Remember you said you weren't sure he was going to be able to make it. But he was great as Santa.
Yep. And I went to see him a few years ago. For a few different years, he did a one-man Christmas Carol presentation, in the full Dickinsonian garb. And, he was so talented and he was an engineer. He did all my videos.
I was going to say, did a great job.
He designed my website. He and had a group of freelancers who he had organized to do all kinds of stuff. He was, he was a real heart of the lessons in leadership. Just the most, what I remember most about Keith was that he just loved to serve. Yeah. Just loved to help people.
You also remember did a great job. He always helped with the lessons in leadership. That's I remember him too. He was one of the team, right?
He was one of the 5 originals, and he did one of the openings. Yeah. Where he did a 30-minute opening at one year.
I heard him speak. Yeah. Oh. Yep. Very sad. Sorry to hear that.
Really crazy. I mean, it was it was so shocking that the first reaction was of what happened on that Saturday night was almost disbelief, and I could even think that he had a gun, and I don't think he really had a gun until that week. Now, as I look back,
what was his job in the hotel? What did he do?
He was the night manager.
And that was what, only the last couple of years?
Yeah, he used to be the vice president of a PPO, vice president of marketing for Crescent PPO. The guy was an all-around talented, bright, gentlemanly person, and it just lets you know that you gotta let out what's in your heart. Don't close up, and be grateful and happy in each day that you can. It's celebrate each day.
And back, put back to Boyle's thing, it puts it in perspective, that, all this other shit that's happening, but when it happens immediately to you, I'm very sorry for you, Brian. Good guy, And
was a really, really good guy, and just remember him for all the good things that he did. You guys didn't know him as well, but
well, do you remember, I got him through you. Remember, I don't know, Tom, if you were there, but I loved it. Remember he did the Beatles thing that one time? at your place? He did the, you know.
The Beatles, yeah.
Yeah, I love, you know, just talented guy, nice guy. I always enjoyed him.
Well, that is such a shame.
Yeah, it is. I'm so sorry to have to
No.
tell you this, but I don't think I could probably hold it in that long. So
you can't. Yeah, you've held it this long. You can't get.
Marcy, you're such a heart.
Yeah, but unfortunately, you can't get to the funeral.
I wish I could surround you
There
with
are no
hugs.
funerals.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. There are no funerals. No.
There's
So
some.
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna convene, you know, when time allows, when we're in a place we can do this again. I'm gonna get together a little lessons in leadership celebration of his life, just a little get together of the core group, and you know, just to not mourn but celebrate.
Yeah.
Good person that he was.
Let me know about that. Or would you want to do it? You know, would you do it virtually? You know.
I don't really think I want to do it virtually. I think that you know, I would like to wait and do it together, live.
Count me in. I'd like to be involved in it.
You got it. You got it.
Oh, now
I know, it's unbelievable. You just never know, but you know, just never know.
Yeah.
That's a story, but
You know what I learned the most from Jenna was that, because she taught me, was that you know, we always have this choice between faith and fear. And I'm not saying faith in a religious way. I'm saying faith in, you know, you can call it whatever you want, but faith in possibility, faith in, you know, faith in tomorrow, faith in that everything has something we can learn from. And ultimately, that is the choice between life and death. And he, you know, probably the, you know, the greatest, you know, example of that ever written was Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, where, you know, the choice of life was truly the choice of, do I live without a purpose? There is no life. And when you focus only on fear, you have no purpose. And that's what happened to him. You know, I don't think he was there all the time, even in the last few days, but all it takes is one moment of being so far in the hole that all the light goes away. That's what I think happened in the moment that he made that horrible choice. And, you know, it really does put perspective even on what's happening here right now. You know, I've got, our livelihood is gone, you know, right now. And you know, the opportunity to even sell our house seems to be pretty gone, which could help us. And there's a lot of things that, you know, I got hit with a horrendous tax bill that I didn't see coming. And my best, you know, one of my dear friends passed away. My daughter just lost her job. Tom's daughter has this disease. But by golly, I'm not going to let that, you know, all that. But, you know, the worst that could happen is just material, as far as we go. And that takes nothing away from love. It takes nothing away from friendship. It takes nothing away from, you know, if worst came to worst and the speaking world disappears, which it might.
Right.
You know, so what?
The light still burns.
Yeah. You know, if we lost everything, if we had to bankrupt, what? We'll make it through to another way and learn things we never learned. So that's still choosing faith.
What I like about what you're doing, Brian, and I think it's crucial, a lot of people, my hope is, and I think you're moving in that direction, to reinvent yourself, you know, in terms of finding, like you're doing with this,
sure,
and find out. And apparently there's a market for it, that people, you know, want information. What's great about what you're doing, like Cynthia's dance thing, if you can connect with people, like I think it's really cool we're connecting now. You know, it's not, it's like when I taught online learning for 30 years, it's not the same, but there are advantages to it, you know?
It's the next best thing, like the thing that I wrote about the rainbows. You know, can't fish for the golden trout, we'll fish for the rainbows. And that's what we got to do. And absolutely. And it's fun to reinvent yourself. Even, it doesn't matter. I mean, if it works out, cool. Yeah, if it works out, cool. But just the act of doing it, you learn and you grow and you're happy and you're contributing and you're going places. I mean, to me, that's what the fun of writing books has been, was that you go places you never quite got to before. That it's in there.
Think Wild West Love Fest.
And
I said, think Wild West Love Fest in terms of going places you never got to. That was that little book that I wrote.
yes. Yes.
So
Right. Plus your throbbing manhood is always a,
Yeah.
I mean, I can see Blaine's is going to say jazz, yours is going to say throbbing manhood.
But we see that, so we now know you were a frustrated cowboy too in another life.
Yeah, there you go.
Were you always a cowboy fan?
What's that? No, not really. Just it was just they said write a book, and I said okay. So.
Well, I got to tell you, Marcy, you got to call your hubby now. Whenever you really want to be affected, you just say, "Come here, rope man.
Yeah.
Come here, rope man."
Give me a rope, man.
We listened to that on the way down to Florida.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved it. It was so great, Carol. That's like that's a little bit like seeing Augie and Quinny. It's just the thought of it just brings a smile to our face.
Now, are you seeing them via Zoom or FaceTime?
We did it all yesterday. We had a family party yesterday with Jenna and Quinn and Jen and Quentin and all Kelsey's crew. And the star of the show though was most definitely Quinny. She is a little ham bone, man.
Did you do it on? You did it on Zoom?
No, the problem with Zoom is the kids are moving around,
Right.
And so sitting in front of a computer, and there's no chance. So it was on FaceTime.
Oh, so you move the phone?
Yeah, so that you can watch them do their thing and run around and do what they do while we're going on. So that was. Well, Tom, don't you do like a weekly FaceTime or with one of your
with the
grandchildren?
granddaughters. Yeah, it started out with just the at the time she was 8 years old, the 8-year-old granddaughter, and we've done that for a couple of years now, every Sunday night at 7:00. But now the little sister is jumping in on the screen too, and the big sister is a little bit not as happy about that, but because it used to be her sole time with grandma and grandpa.
Yeah, you may have to switch it to separate times.
Yeah, we may, and we may have to do that. Oh, look who's back in the voice breakfast.
Yeah.
Hey, Marcy.
I just, Brian, my condolences.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Symphony. My heartfelt symphony.
Yeah.
Sympathy.
Thank you, sweetheart. I'm sad that I'm so sad that he's gone. I'm so sad that he got to such a point without getting help. But I hold a really nice place in my heart for such a kind man and a good man, and that's who I'm going to remember. The last thing he said to me from jail was, "Brian, you know that's not my heart. That's not who I am." And so he knew it too. He just couldn't live knowing it. Where it's so weird, though. I mean, not weird, but it's understandable that nobody would look at it that way. But it doesn't matter. He looked at it that way. He looked at it as if he had done something that he could not ever live down and could not move on. Whereas I know that anyone who knew him would have, of course you did a horrible thing, and that means you need a little help, and doesn't take away from a life well lived. But
it's funny I just told the story. It's what I tell Cynthia all the time. When you think of people or things, you think of. I try to just positive things and block out everything else. So I tell her about her pets. She gets sometimes upset about pets. You guys too, Tom and Marcy. I say, well, just think about all the good times. Or the minute you say kid, I'm trying to not block this out. I remember Santa Claus. You know, I remember him singing. I remember him being with the seven of us. You know, it's just so and the seminar. I remember all the very positive things about Keith. You know, I didn't know him real well. I just liked him from what I knew of him. You know, and
that was who he was, and that's who he will stay, because we got that choice too.
Like, marvelously talented guy. And so even like when I think of my parents or anybody, I just try to think of, you know, all the, you know, good things about them. And I'm lucky in that I don't have to go to the, you know, the bad things. You know, it's just, I can do that. It's really cool. So that's how I remember your friend Keith, but very positive, you know.
Yeah.
Except for the last 3 days, you know, tough last couple of days of his life. When did his wife tell him?
When did his wife tell him that she wanted a divorce?
Yeah.
About 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Now, did you hear from him then? Did he?
Yeah, oh yeah. That was the first time I'd ever seen him heard him express emotion. He was sobbing on the phone to me for about an hour.
So you were his like best and kind of only friend at this point in time.
I think I was the only one that he thought he opened up to, but he really didn't open up. I mean, he really didn't. I mean, there's so much I don't know. Yeah. And that's only because he just couldn't get himself to express it. So, you know, within every adversity, even the worst, is planted the seed of equivalent or greater benefit. And the benefit is for us, never get to the point where you don't open up your heart. Open your heart. Open your heart. Talk it out.
With Jenna, is she now with, which is nice, is she with Q all the time?
Yes.
They live together?
They do. They just moved together, which because they have to, they have to quarantine in Austin, and so they had to bring the cats together. So remember, Q had Rocky Top, the one we told you about that we found out on the hike. You remember that story, right?
Yeah.
This crazy cat who followed us for 4 miles on a hike and had been living in the woods for weeks. So we brought Rocky to Q because he never got comfortable here at this house. And now Walter, the world famous Walter Butters, so that was the only reason they probably didn't live together before. They were worried about, are these cats gonna fight all the time? But apparently they're doing pretty good. Walter's definitely the alpha.
Yeah, Walter is.
Yeah. Oh, Walter. Yeah, Walter is something. That guy. He's like.
Yeah, they only moved together because of the cats.
Right.
Well, that's the only reason they didn't move together before, was because they were afraid that wouldn't work too well. But yeah, she's doing so well.
Oh, that's wonderful.
She's moved on the pain, which is also a learning thing for me, because I don't know when now I know that'll happen. In Marcy, that'll even happen. There's still, if you go to think about your folks, you go to think about, you'll feel something, but it's more love. Love begins to overpower the sadness, and you get to the other side. They're never gone. The sense of them being gone is never gone, but there's too much love that surrounds it for it to be pulling you down anymore. Well, and that'll happen with Keith too.
Yeah, it was, for them, the ultimate act of love was to go out together.
Absolutely.
Ultimate act of love that they had for each other.
Absolutely, and they were joyous to do that. They that's beautiful.
Cynthia and I were talking the other day, Marcy, about your folks, and we're saying in a perverse way, we're just glad that they're not around now. In terms of, she has an uncle who's in a nursing home, who's kind of getting into dementia, and now he can't be visited. He doesn't know what's going on, and can imagine all these people, and they can't see anybody. It's just so.
That would have killed us.
Can you imagine? You get a chill. So, but the point is, back to what Brian just said. Whenever I think of them, your folks, I always think of them in a positive way. I just remember some good times we had with them, and I can see them at your kitchen table. And I remember one of the last times we brought donuts to them. Your dad was so happy
Was that Duck Donuts? Is that what
Yeah,
you brought
Duck
up?
Donuts. And then I remember all these things. I remember the time we made the hands, remember we had that time we made
Yes.
hands and just, so it's so sweet that I think of them. I hope you do that, Brian. Your folks are still alive. And really, how are they doing, your folks?
They're, they've been in quarantine for about 30 years. So, they pretty much are, they're, they're getting very old, and they're, the hard thing, and they're doing fine. They finally just gave up the sign carving. They've carved their last sign.
Okay.
My mom can't, my mom was the painter, and she just can't hold her hands still enough anymore. And so, we were going to go as a whole family in May to go and bring both great grandchildren. And so we, on our call yesterday, we decided that we would postpone that. May is too soon, which is fine as long as, nothing happens before then. Yeah, they're doing fine. I'm only partially kidding saying they've been in quarantine for really 45 years. So this is no big deal. They kind of have each other, and that's what they have. So.
How do they comprehend what's happening in the world?
Well, they're I mean, my mother is, is frightened, and she takes a lot of it. I mean, they're very aware. They're very alert. They're sharp. They're very sharp. Very sad. I mean, I think she, both of them are which is pretty cool, because they used to be very Goldwater Republicans. They're more frightened of Trump getting reelected than they are of the virus.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Yeah.
So am I. I realize that. I am more distraught at the thought of him being reelected than I am at anything that I've externally that I've felt in my life. I'm so sick of this horrible example.
Yeah.
And think of one other thing that Brian just said. Yeah. I'm sorry, what, Moss?
We share that sentiment.
Yeah. One other thing too, and something I would talk about this too. I read an article, and I'm sorry I didn't save it, but it talks about if you can think of the last time you did everything, if you knew it would be your last time, like the wood carving thing is a very interesting example. If they knew it was going to be the last wood carving they ever did, it's an interesting premise. Or, like the last time you ever spoke to, unfortunately, Keith or a friend, or the last time you ever did anything, if you knew it was going to be your last time, would it be different? Last time you ever made a pay phone, a phone pay to use a pay phone, whatever.
What's that?
Yeah, exactly. Or I love it, Tom. You ever see the video, Tom and Marcy, you show the grandkids of little kids confronted with a dial phone,
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that one?
Yeah.
You ever see it?
Yeah.
I don't
great.
think I've ever seen it.
Oh, it's great. But anyway, it's the premise, if you didn't know how to use a dial phone, and kids have no idea, yeah, exactly. What are you doing? And you stop it, that's funny.
That's funny.
So anyway.
One thing I want to mention, and I think, you mentioned it to me, but also as far as going outside, just looking at the sky and just feeling the energy of what's around us. When I started thinking about my parents, it was just like, go outside, take a deep breath, and just look around and just see all the beauty around us.
Absolutely.
But also too, allow yourself the opportunity to grieve in whatever form that takes.
Yeah, and I have, remember I cried openings of supermarkets, so I'm pretty bad. So I cried my tears, and I told his wife that I would be the point person to tell the people that he was close to, so she didn't have to keep telling everybody. And that's been healing in a way. It's not easy, but that's been a expression of the grief. And but I'm good. I'm good. I mean, I really am. I mean, I'm sad, but I'm wanting to, the good thing about that I want to take with me is to live each day even a little bit better, be a better person, be a bit more like he was. He was such an unselfish, giving soul who didn't really care about any kind of credit for it. He just liked to help. Like to help. That was his, and so I love that, and I want to, honor him by trying to do more of that. So,
Well, if there's anything we can do to help you, just let
we're
us
there
know.
for you.
well,
We
thank
have-
you guys. Thank you guys.
We're doing driveway visits. So we go to people's driveways, or they come here, and we bring out chairs, and that's how we visit folks. And so we could do driveway visits. We don't
We
have
could do it
to.
on our driveway, and boy, that'd be exciting. Yeah,
Slide down.
yeah, especially if we use wheeled chairs. That would be really exciting. Woo!
That might be some fun.
Yeah.
That might be some fun. We'll have a
But
whole meeting for woo.
Yeah, way woo.
On that note, boys and girls, I think it's getting out time. Can we do
Right.
it? Again, Marvin, we'll try again for next Monday.
Yeah,
Next Monday sounds good.
This is,
Same-
I love you guys, and thanks for letting me.
well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Brian,
Yeah, I was serious about that driveway visit.
Yeah.
I'm
Well, I have to check with Carol's pretty focused on making sure. I mean, I have to take a bath of alcohol and hydrogen peroxide and a fire hose before I'm allowed in on my driveway, much less in the house.
well, Cynthia, same thing too.
Okay.
Cynthia's giving me grief about washing my hands. I'm not doing it right. And so she's.
I loved your little video though, the song, the new song you got.
That was great.
Hand washing.
Tell her, Blaine, about the hand thing, that you could be a lot worse. You could be at our house where we have no water. So.
Oh yeah! Wow. Okay. Imagine. You missed that, Martha.
Oh, no.
So you're back into another 2-week quarantine then?
Yeah, we're in we have to use wipes and brought enough water that from the other house that I think we'll get through. But man, I'm shocked that now we've been more than we've been 26 hours without
Oh
water.
my gosh.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
really glad, Brian. It really makes me grateful. We're doing our interview tomorrow on Zoom rather than in person.
Yeah, I'll whip over to the other house, and I took a shower this morning at the other house. Thank God. So if we don't have water, at least we got another house we can whip over to take a shower.
There was
Yeah.
there was a film by John Walters, and it was the first film I ever had smell-o-vision. You ever hear of that? Polly, you ever hear the film? You ever hear of it?
I haven't heard the movie.
A film Brian doesn't know. You know who John Walters is, right?
Yep.
Famous, his character. Anyway, so he did this film, Marcy, called Polyester, and you would go into the theater and you would get a little SNCC card that you scratch off, and each time you'd smell different smells. So one would be pizza, one would be somebody going to the bathroom, and it didn't last too long. I think that was the only film that did Polyester. So I'm glad Brian will interview you via Zoom.
All right. Love you guys.
Okay, great.
Love
you guys.
Good seeing you.
Okay.
Speak to you soon. Hey, be well.
Bye-bye.
Big hugs to everybody.
Best to Scout. Okay, see ya.